Wavy, what plugins do you use while tracking? Only use plugins that actually help the performance. Hey man, if you stacking 10 plugins just to record a vocal, you already lost, fam. Tracking ain't mixing. You don't really need to do all that. Let me just show you how to keep it simple, clean, and professional. And yeah, I'll give you my top plugin picks for recording, but you might not even need them. Let me just say it like this. Tracking is all about catching a vibe, not fixing mistakes. Plugins are for mixing. For tracking, you just need the cleanest, best source possible. Me, I like to use hardware like a 1073, a CL1B, or even an LA2A. But whether you're using hardware or software, the rules stay the same. Don't do too much. I used to record and try to do way too much, man. I'd be using Vocaline, Melodyne, and a bunch of effects that would just take time and energy away from capturing the great take. Yes, you can mix and help to create the vibe of the song as it go along, but it's most important to just capture the raw greatness. This brings me back to something that I always say, and that's mix before you record. That means taking the time to make sure you got proper mic placement, that the vocalist is prepared, that you actually have a good arrangement and a good song to record in the first place. Think of it like a photographer. They're gonna make sure that the model is looking good, that the lighting is right, that all the props are in frame, all that just to push that button one time and take the perfect picture. I really think investing in the front end of your recording is probably the most ideal. And what that means is spending some money to get a genuine, good quality hardware preamp, something like a 1073 style or like these Focusrite ISAs, even the Shadow Hills monogammas are some of my favorite. From there, I'll typically use a hardware compressor, something like a Distressor or a CL1B style or even a LA2A. If you compressing on the input, whether it's hardware or a plug-in, keep it gentle. I'm talking about just like 4 to 6 dB of compression, max. You are not trying to squash the vocal or whatever it is you're recording. You just want to tame the peaks. You want to control those peaks and not lock yourself into a bad take. You can always add more compression during mixing, but if you over compress during the recording stage, you can't undo that. Now, if you're not working with physical hardware, do not worry. You can still get an analog vibe just using software like the UAD Console. The UAD Console actually lets you emulate hardware right on the input with zero latency. It's actually pretty dope and I've been using it for years. If you're using an Apollo interface, you are already in the game. A good starting point will be like a Neve 1073 for that warmth and a little EQ if needed, an LA2A, maybe even 1176 or Distressor, just to tame those peaks. Fun fact, I rarely use EQ when I'm recording. Only time I really EQ is when I'm recording multiple people on the same song. And instead of switching mics to get the best sound or make them match up, I would just use gentle EQ boost. Some people might have a warmer tone that needs a little scoop out in the low mids, or some might need a little bit of help on their brightness. So I'll just use that to make sure that as I'm recording multiple people, if the preamp or whatever I'm using has an EQ, I can adjust that on the way in, but just a little bit, couple dBs tops. So just know, if you don't have a $3,000 signal chain in your rack yet, you can still get that good sound in the box. Just don't overdo it. Now, whether you're using hardware or software on the way in, what you do in the DAW should be simple too. And I know y'all asking, Wavy, what plugins do you use while tracking? Actually, that was the question I got from Instagram. So here goes your answer. First up, on my record channel, I'm gonna keep it super simple and I'm just gonna go with something like a Waves RVox. It's fast, easy compression, and it does what it needs to do. Even got a little gate if needed. If it's a melodic vocal, I might throw in some auto-tune, light retune to keep it natural, or go ahead and turn that retune speed up if your ideal sound is a heavily processed auto-tune sound. I always like to keep an EQ in the chain while I'm recording. I think of my recording chain just like a recording console. Typically, you'll just have some compression, maybe some gate, and some EQ as well as your gain, right? So I keep stuff simple just like that. So I'll always have some type of EQ inserted. It could be a stock EQ, doesn't need to be anything fancy, especially to keep the latency low as you're recording. I typically will lean toward the Fab Filter Pro Q3 or Pro Q4 just because it has a great low latency mode, and that'll be an EQ that I'll also want to use during the mixing process. After that, on that channel, it ain't really much else. Now, I will always also create a send out to a reverb, a simple reverb, maybe 2 different styles of reverb just to give the artist some variation if they need it. And then also a delay, a super short delay turned down. I might not even use that during the actual recording process, but after we get done, just to quickly get that rough mix going, it might be cool to just add some delay on some parts. But as you recording, having a delay in could be distracting. And I can't believe I'm telling y'all this, but another gem that not a lot of people are talking about is that I keep a limiter on my mix bus while tracking. Not to master it, but just to glue everything together. It really helps the overall sound to be loud enough, and it just makes everything feel like a polished record, even though we're still recording. I had the singer in the booth one time. She was shy and really unsure of what she was doing. Kept asking me, is that good? Is that good? I threw on a little R box to compress it. I put the limiter over the whole 2-bus and threw a little splash of reverb. She heard it. It sounded like a polished record already to her in the headphones. That gave her the confidence to really perform, and we got a dope record done that day. But to be able to move efficiently, I have to keep my session clean. I don't start off with a heavily loaded template with a bunch of tracks for every harmony and background vocal. I just simply duplicate the record track as I need it. You can use a quick shortcut, Shift Option D in Pro Tools to duplicate the track, and I'll uncheck the first 3, especially that main playlist. We don't want to copy that over. Working this way allows me to be quick and intentional without a bunch of tracks cluttering up the session, and I'll know exactly where everything is at. Really just remember that tracking is the foundation. Don't build it crooked. Keep it clean, keep it light, and only use plugins that actually help the performance. Let mixing be mixing and let tracking be tracking. Now, I want to hear from y'all. What plugins can't you live without while tracking? You got a favorite trick or chain that works best for you? What about a template? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Wavy Wayne from Wavy Pro Audio. Let me know what video I should make next too. Leave that in the comments and be dope.